This activity, we're going to start with some sketches and show how we can use those to use a sweep and a revolve to make some different parts. So there's a couple new techniques that we have not done before. We're going to start out by opening the trumpet where the sketches have already been created. So here's the trumpet. And then the first thing I'm going to do is save as so that I can save that in my own parts and make some modifications to it. And for this one, we're going to use sweep. So what sweep does is it takes a profile and it sends it along a path. So we need two sketches at once. And sweep is going to be under our create menu. Here's sweep. And so we need a couple different things. We need a profile and a path. This also says to use a rail. So we'll show what that means, what the difference is between having a rail or not. So the first thing we want is we want the outside of this to make a tube, and then we'll click on path and we'll tell it to follow this path, and you can see it's starting to make that tube. It gets around to here. It doesn't know if we want to keep going or not, so we'll click on the next line, right? And this would come out to this spot right here, which is cool, except it doesn't actually get wider when it gets to the end, right? If we had used a different path, if we had used this for the path and tried going around the outside, you can see when it gets to right here, it curves up. So we actually want this part to make the bell. We want it to go straight, but then we want to get wider. So that's why we're going to not use the single path, but we're going to use the path plus guide rail. So our profile, same profile as before. Our path is going to be that one that we picked the first time that goes right down the middle. So it comes out to here. And then our guide rail is going to be the outside of the circle. So we'll click right there. We'll keep going around. And you can see it comes up. So the outside of the profile goes here. The center of the profile goes this way. And if you rotate it around, you can see that the bell gets wider as it gets up to this place. So that looks pretty cool. The next thing that we're going to make are the keys. So we're going to extrude these circles. We're going to extrude them from the bottom. So we'll select these three profiles down here. We're going to have them go up like this. Now we don't want them to cut holes in the middle of it. We want this to be a join. And the distance we want is 185 millimeters. That's going to go a little bit past these circles that we have here. We'll click OK. We're going to use those to do a cut. So we'll do an extrusion and we'll cut the outside of these. We're going to go -20. And so you can see it'll leave the middle, but cut away the outside. Makes it look kind of like trumpet keys where you can press the buttons to play. Something that it doesn't tell you to do, but that I think looks kind of cool, if you right click on a body and you go to physical material, you can actually choose different materials. That will change the appearance and also like the material properties. So if you do appearance, you go to metals, and then I'm going to come down to brass. I'm going to click on that and drop it on the part and close that. Now it looks a little bit more like a brass trumpet, so that looks kind of cool. And then I'm going to make the mouthpiece. Now the mouthpiece has a weird shape, and so there's a few different ways to make it. We could make it using loft, which is something brand new, but since we have this profile, we could also use a revolve. So here's revolve. I'm going to revolve this profile, click profile right here, and then the axis that I want to use is going right down the middle of the part. Now, if the sketches are invisible, you might need to go into your sketches and turn them on until we find the one. Here we go. This is the one that goes right down the middle. So you can see the part there. If you leave it on join, it'll make a nice brass mouthpiece as well. If you change it to new body, which is what they would like you to do, you can see that this is a separate piece. We'll click OK. And so we've got a silverish, a gray mouthpiece, and a brass trumpet. And there we go. Save my trumpet again.